What is up YouTube, and welcome back to another CZN or Chaos Zero Nightmare video. And today we are going to be talking all about Zero System. So Zero System unlocks at level 40. It is the late game mode that you will be farming for the most part for most of your, pretty much all of your OP late game decks, because this is where you get the hardest maps to get the highest save data as possible. You can see that I have very high save data, and also you can see rare fate occurrences where you can get really good gear or very good cards and epiphanies will have a higher chance to appear. So the way that this works is there are difficulties that go from 1 to 10. You start at 1, the maximum is 10, and if you click this I button, it'll tell you how to rank up. You'll have to complete a stage or map at that level or higher, and you want to rush to level 10 as fast as you can. And the reason why is because there are some really good upgrades you can get, not just from the maps itself where you can get higher save data, but if you go into the upgrade system, which you will need to farm these chaos orbs from doing the maps in Zero System to get, you can get some really good rewards. Not only will you get these stat rewards to make you stronger in this game mode, but you'll also see you can get extra rare stages to occur. You can also get equipment discounts, which is very good. This will allow you to get legendary equipments on all of your characters consistently. And then the biggest one for me is this Divine Protocol. This will make it so that you get double the chance, because you're increasing it by 100%, to get God's Emissary. This is the Divine Epiphanies, the ones that make your cards extra OP. You guys know what I'm talking about. The ones that have special effects that you want to get on as many of your cards as possible for the characters you're building. So you definitely want to make sure you do it, because you're getting double the chance here. And even if we scroll down, once you get to the max level and unlock everything, you'll see the last one is going to give you another 100%. So this is going to allow you to basically get triple the chance of getting those Divine Epiphanies. So a good way to look at it, it's not really how the math works, is you'll get triple the Divine Epiphany cards every single run. So really OP, definitely want to make sure you make your way to the last level. There's also some other stuff that is very good, such as more equipment discounts, and there's a very key one in the middle of the levels where you can actually get a 5-time refresh for every Delling shop you find. So every single time you go into a Delling shop, multiple times per run, you'll get 5 refreshes. This allows you to get your best legendary, best in slot equipments on your characters very easily. So if you're looking for that extra attack damage for your Hugo, or just whatever you're looking for your other characters, this makes it really easy to guarantee that you get it. You can also increase the chance of Delling shop appearing. So there's a lot of good upgrades to these maps, which just makes these maps just a lot better. And the reason why I haven't been doing Nightmare mode at all and just doing normal mode, Nightmare mode is basically this top right feature here, which I will start doing now because I unlocked level 10, is because you want to do the easiest form of that map that you're doing to level up quickly. Because when you beat a map, you will actually get a map for free at the end out of 3 selections that are higher level, which will allow you to level up your difficulty as quickly and as efficiently as possible. Now, the reason why you want to grind the maps this way, which is what I recommend doing, is because when you end up crafting maps, so if I actually dispose of this one, I show you very quickly, you can see it costs you 90,000 units to get 3 of these maps to appear. And those units, even though they seem like you have an unlimited source of them, you can run out by spamming crafting here. And it's definitely not worth it. So you want to make sure you aren't failing as many of these maps. You want to make sure that you are succeeding a lot of the time, so you don't waste your credits. Also, the levels of the maps that you craft will be lower than the ones you get by completing a map and then getting one for free. So when you're actually crafting, which ones do you want to go for? So what I recommend is just going for the highest level one in general, because that'll allow you to push the levels of the maps even higher and unlock higher difficulties. But another important thing to look at, especially when you're just progressing levels, is to not worry about the save data and the rare fate occurrence at all. I know it's very tempting to always take the higher ones so you can have a chance at the better decks that you create, but you have to realize you're not going to really be farming for those decks until you hit level 10. And the ones you do farm beforehand, there's a very high chance you'll replace it unless you get like god tier RNG, which doesn't happen that often. So don't worry about the save data and the rare fate occurrences. Just look at the levels and choose the highest one. Of course, you do want to look at the downsides. For example, some of these have extra elite spots. Some of them will decrease your max HP. Some of them will lose or make you lose max HP at the start of every turn. You want to make sure that you kind of balance the level of the map with the drawbacks that you get, so you don't choose a map that's like impossible for you. So in my opinion, I think the max health decrease is by far the hardest one. The elite spots, they don't really matter too much because on the second interior stage, the second floor, you're choosing elite spots mostly anyways, and everything else like max health decrease at the start of each turn, it seems pretty bad, but it's not as bad as you think. But just losing that max health, this is like the one you want to avoid almost 100% of the time, unless you're very confident. Another very important one to actually avoid is elites and bosses having more max HP and attack. This makes it so that some of the stages can actually just one-shot you outright, no matter how tanky you are. So you want to make sure that, you know, the max health decrease, the bosses and elites max health and attack increase. So anything that really has to do with just increases or decreases of max health and attack, you want to avoid. Now, in terms of which one you want to choose, so once you choose a map, what ends up happening is the map that you craft after beating it, so the one for free that you get for beating that map, you will get the same exact world. So in the beginning, even if you have like a really bad drawback and like the level is pretty shitty and stuff like that, you don't really want to pick it, you're gonna want to choose the one that you have the most comfort in beating. So for my team comp, which I use, it is going to be Hugo, Mika, and also Tressa. This trio is really good in City of Mist. Like this is like super easy. So because of this, I think it's probably the easiest for every single team almost. You're gonna want to just do that map first and just keep progressing and try not to lose as much as you can. And that way you'll just keep getting the City of Mists and it's super easy. Also on top of that, you're leveling the exploration, so you get these extra rewards, and these will actually apply to Zero System as well. So you can see at level 30, for example, you can even get something like this, which is really good for Tressa, right? So just doing one map, even though it's very boring, if you want to be the most efficient, is the best thing to do. I think City of Mist will be the easiest one for a lot of people, but of course, different team comps will find different maps easier. And then, you know, if you are doing City of Mist and you end up failing it, what you can actually do is just, you know, just craft another one and try to look for another one. Ideally, it'll be at a higher level at that point because you have beat it multiple times. But if not, then you can just do it again. Or if you're confident in like other worlds, you can do them as well. But personally, I find Blue Pot to be like almost impossible right now. I think they have to like tune it a bit. The normal stages in Blue Pot are absolutely crazy on the second floor. But for the other worlds, I think Twin Star Shadow is doable, I think City of Mist is doable, and I think the Foretold Ruin, I think these three are the easiest by far. Swamp is okay as well, so basically anything but Blue Pot I think is fine. It's something you want to work on and just keep doing like maybe between 1 and 2 so you get high exploration level, and so you get very comfortable with the world layout so you know what the events are. So that is what I recommend. Now, it is going to be hard to get into it. You will need a decent team comp once you get to like difficulty 6, 7. That's where it starts getting pretty hard. So you won't be able to use any ragtag team. So you definitely want to make sure you bring a decent team comp. Like I said, I'm using Hugo, Mika, and Tressa. I think this is probably one of the best ones to use for Chaos. The best one is probably Kalipe, Magna, and Mika. Just my opinion, of course. Of course, there's other ones like Maylin's pretty good if you can get good Epiphanies early. Renoa's alright, but pretty hard to use in my opinion from what I've seen because I've tried her so much. But what you want to do, regardless of what you bring, is make sure your memory fragments are all up to par. So you want to have, you know, your 4 set or whatever set you're running active and your 2 set, or if you're using like a 2-2-2 setup like my Mika's on, you want this active as well. And I recommend getting everything with good main stats to +3 at least. +4 is where it starts costing those blue mats and it's pretty annoying to get. So +3 at least on every single character is going to be pretty much required once you start pushing into like level 10-ish even. Not even level 10, like level 7-ish I think, because the stats you need get higher and higher obviously. So definitely want to make sure you do that. I have pieces at level 5 that ended up just being very good in general. Like this piece is absolutely amazing for the early game because I have damage over time, you know, health percent, and a lot of tankiness as well with some crit chance sprinkled in. But you want to make sure your memory fragments are up to par. Now, on the topic of memory fragments, you want to farm some in simulation, but what you have to realize is when you're doing simulation farming, you only can get 2 legendary pieces to drop. However, when you're doing zero system, it's another good thing about zero system. When you get eventually to, like, I think it's difficulty 7 or it might be 8, when you actually claim the rewards at the end of the floor, you get 3 pieces to drop. So honestly, farming equipment in zero system is very tedious. You don't have to do it that way, but it is the most efficient because you get an extra piece to drop, which can be huge. So also another bonus to doing zero system. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, I don't want to drag this video on too long. That's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. Let me know in the comments down below what team you're using for zero system and what difficulty level you're at right now. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.